Hello, this is Azrael. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Today we're going to be talking about more tips on magic, on how to make it manifest and what might keep it from manifesting. Oh, don't mind me. I just came back from wizarding school. However, I'll take this off and be more serious. So, in the last video, we talked about how reality seems to be built on our perception of reality. Now, one of the things I want to point out today is that when you're practicing magic, you're trying to make something either manifest or be destroyed, or bring something into existence is a better term, or destroy something, depending on what you're trying to do, obviously. So if you're building, say, casting a spell for a job, you want to make something manifest. Someone's getting on your nerves, and or you're trying to destroy a bad habit, you send it away or you destroy something. All right. Now, negative magic often seems like it's more powerful. You get better results because you are destroying something. Now, let me explain. When you build a house of cards, it's going to take some time. You got to set everything in the right position and then build it up and build it up. That takes time. It takes nothing to walk over there and just slap it down. So when you are destroying something, usually it's easier to destroy it than it is to build it. It takes months to build a house. A wrecking ball, 3 minutes tops. Boom. All right, so that's why negative magic seems to take more oomph, more power when it really it isn't, because it takes less energy to destroy something than it does to create. Usually, now when you create something, you've got to have a foundation. Now, what I mean by this is that, say, if you're trying to get a new job, but you're lazy, or for some reason you have a very bad work history, you can't stay. Maybe you get bored too easy or something. Uh, Casting a spell to get a good paying job might not manifest if you don't have a good work ethic to build on. If I hope you guys are following this. So here's another example. Say you don't have a social life. You cast a spell for love, but yet remember, guys, magic manifests through our reality in natural ways. This is not Hollywood magic. This is natural magic, so it's going to happen naturally. So if you cast a love spell, you don't go out and go, "Hey, my name is so and so. You want to go out?" Or if you don't put yourself out there, it's not going to happen. You have no foundation to build the magic on. So take this in mind when you plan to do magic. Usually it's not just one spell; it's multiple spells to lead up to the spell you want. So if you want a new job, obviously you can cast a spell for luck, cast a spell, or do what's called the great work, trying to make yourself a better person. If you have a bad work ethic, for example, or try to focus, maintain meditation, start meditating and focusing. So when that job does come along, you won't get bored with it and throw it away. You put all that work into getting a job, but then you have no foundation to maintain the job. If you follow me, so there's steps. There's inner growth for the outer growth. You've got to build a foundation for your magic to manifest. Otherwise, it's just going to fall through. You'll obtain it, but it'll just go. So it's like a love magic. You might get that love of your life, but if you don't work on that relationship to help build it, there's no amount of magic that will help you, because you're putting the magic in the left hand, putting it in the right hand, and throwing it right back out the window. So take this into consideration. Okay, another thing is timing, and energy flow. Now, a lot of people don't take this into consideration. Now, a lot of Wiccans will do, and uh, universally, people who even start studying magic learn about the phases of the moon. If you want something to grow in abundance, you do when the moon's waxing to full. If you want to send something away or destroy something, it's waning. Okay. Now, the reason for this is imagine yourself pushing a car on a level field. Okay, it's a ton car. It weighs a ton, yet you're able to push it, right? Because everything's right. It's level, and you're pushing something heavy. That's fine. You're pushing motion because there's nothing really working too much against you. Too much. Now, let's say somebody else has already pushed that car and it's rolling now pretty fast, say about maybe 5 miles, 10 miles an hour for you, and you've got to try to stop it by your hands. Once something is in motion, it's very hard, even with magic, to stop it because it's already in motion. All right. So when you take the timing, the right time, consider it like a river flowing one direction. It's easy to get your goal if you're swimming with the current. If you're swimming against the current, you can still do it, but there's energies working against you, natural energies. Okay. Then you also have the haters, and much like that car, it might be too heavy. Once it's in motion, it might be too heavy for your magic to work because once these people, that's one reason why you also keep silent. You're supposed to keep silent about your magic work. In other words, you don't tell nobody because they will work against you, or even the doubters will start sending energy like, "Oh, that's never going to work. That's never going to work." So that's one of the elemental quotes: to do, to know, to do, to dare, and be silent. So timing and motion, you really got to take that in consideration. Um, we got both. The universal timing, for example, yes, if you want growth, a good example, you're going to use the full moon. But if you're like looking for love or fertility, the best time to do that would be in the full moon during spring or summer when fertility is a very big thing. You see what I'm saying? So once you have the energies, natural energies working in your direction, and you know that there's other people that are probably blocking your path, because, like for example, if you've got a job or trying to win the lottery through magic, right? Hundreds of people are praying and probably doing the same thing. So that becomes a lot of static noise that your intentions have to break through. Uh, for every person who's wanting that one job, you might have two other people praying and or casting a spell for that job. Uh, Even if they're not practicing magic, the fact that they're applying for the job is more of a chance that you're not going to get it. So your magic has to work harder. All right, so let's take that all into considerations. Um, the secret to what I have discovered is that it's like swinging a pendulum. The pendulum goes up, the pendulum goes down. There's a specific moment that when the energy is swinging that pendulum up, it stops in midair for a fraction of a second and then falls back down. During this time, this in between time, is the best time for your magic to work. When the energies that are moving stop and they're not doing anything right before they come back. Now that's tricky. Now what I use is divinations. I, I obviously I go with the timings. If maybe it's that love spell, so I will do it during the hour of Venus on a Friday, during a full moon, during the spring equinox or something. All these energies are going in this one direction. Okay. Now I've already established. I got to have a foundation for that spell to build itself on. Okay. So you have to have that foundation, the timing. Now, again, you could cast a spell for anything at any time, and it could still work. I'm just saying that as energies flow, it's easier to work with them than against them. Because again, when you're working against them, it's like that car example. You want to try to stop it, and it just might not work. It's easier to direct energy away than it is to stop it. So think of it like spiritual kung fu or martial arts. Okay, you gotta plan the timing for the strikes. You gotta know when the energies are coming in the opposite direction, and maybe instead of using a spell to make your love to manifest or to attract a mate, those energies that are working against you, make them work for you. use those energies, those destructive energies, or the energies that resist what you want, make them work for you by tearing down barriers, or uh, taking that time, since it's moving against you, maybe use that momentum to work, focus inward on yourself. There's a lot of mental gymnastics that has to go through one's perceptions of reality. Uh, you've got to have a foundation. You got to be at balance with yourself, uh, no matter where the energies flow. Now, the best way to do this for me was divination. Learn a system of divination. So instead of just casting a spell all willy nilly, use divination and try to find out what's blocking you. So you have your goal here, and you have the roadblocks. Use the divination to find out what kind of to be specific. What kind of roadblocks is it? Extra, is that an extra guy trying to get with your man, that distracting him and looking more at her than you? Again, you shouldn't. I'm using this as an example. It's kind of a bad example because it's kind of imposing your will on somebody. But um, as an example, do something you could use a spell to try to, get her, to start looking at another guy. So maybe send positive love magic her way to attract a different man than yours. You see, that's kind of a bad example, I guess. But you guys understand where I'm trying to get at, is that use divination to find out what is in your way so you can remove it, and then perform a ritual for what you want. So it's in steps. A lot of people, they just go straight to the ritual for prosperity, love, or whatever they want, and they forget that while they're trying to, that road that they're taking there could be heavily blocked. So you need to be specific and clear the way, and then do a spell, and your magic will work a lot better by removing the negativities with maybe like road opener spells, and then cast another spell separate to make what you want manifest. The best way I can say it without rambling too much. So there you have it. You have timing to go with the flow of energy instead of against it. There's a certain point when those energies begin to fluctuate and move back. This is the sweet spot. This, you almost, when everything stops moving, like on that pendulum, right before it swings back down, that is that sweet spot, because it's no longer, it's like in suspension. So you hit that with your own energy while during that little sweet spot between the change of directions. There's that lull right before it comes back, and the laws of the universe, or physics, pulls it back, basically. On that pendulum, there's that little sweet spot that you would want to try to get, where there's really, there's really nothing against you. Those are very hard to find, and it's very rare. And so you have timing and a foundation. You got to have a foundation for your magic to be built on. Now, a quick little side note. When you're talking to people who are skeptics and so forth, which is also the third point, try to keep your magic silent. And it's okay to talk about your magic after it's manifested. But if you talk about magic, like say you're trying to pull somebody's attention, and they know you practice magic, and they know you're going to cast a spell on them, it's going to add more resistance, or other people who don't like you will start putting more negative energy away to stop your magic. All right, so you have all those little things that I just mentioned. But when you're talking to a skeptic, remember, most skeptics have an analytical mind. For something to be considered scientific, you have to be able to do something and get a result repeatably. So you have the experiment and you have the result. Let's say you have the ritual and then you have the result. So for them to really, understand where you're coming from, they have to see this kind of stuff repeatedly. But it don't happen that way. Why? Because magic, again, when you cast a spell, each person is different. Each person is different day to day. So you fluctuate as a practitioner. Other people fluctuate as a practitioner. And all these other roadblocks that people don't necessarily see that works against them keeps their magic from materializing. So here we have a situation where it might be 100% valid that, yes, let's for the sake of argument, that magic is 100% real. you're not going to get that scientific response, experiment, result, same result. You're not going to, because when you are dealing with the human condition, it cannot be quantified. Uh, Again, we're different day to day, and we get different results day to day. Not just magic, but just every day. One day is a good day, one day is a bad day. Now, because we're talking about something metaphysical that manifests states within our reality through our own perception, yes, you're going to see it like that. Somebody else might not. Okay, so your your experience might help other people, but your experience is not evidence for other people. So when you're talking to a skeptic, be wary, especially when you're talking about your magical practice, because they'll be like, "No, no, it's not going to happen." If they believe it, or they acknowledge it or not, they're still casting in or pushing energy. They're still practicing. I guess you could say could be arguably magic to begin with, because they're using their perception of reality, their thoughts and their emotions in a negative. No, that's not going to happen. You're silly. So there you have it. You have the one reason why. Especially this last little tidbit I gave you on why magic does not seem to work, and why it can be so frustrating when somebody says, "Oh no, it's you cast a spell and say you got what you want, but oh well that could have happened anyway because such and such they quit the job and it was open for promotion." But again, remember, magic materializes through natural means. If you cast a spell to fly and you jump off that building, you're going to have a bad day, because that's not how magic works. Different from, let's say, casting a spell to have a astral projection experience, because that's still in the realm of the mind. But here, when magic materializes, it's got to have a foundation, and it's got to be in a foundation in the physical world for your physical manifestation to materialize. That's very critical. A lot of witches seem to skip that part or not understand it, especially when they're new. They don't understand that, okay, I lit the candle, I said my prayer, my incantations, wait for the results. Results might not come if you don't have a place to go. So that's this video for tips on why magic works, why it won't work, and a little bit of advice to understand how to talk to a skeptic or not talk to a skeptic about your practice. But again, we as practitioners, we see the increase of what happens in our life. It's kind of like, again, talking to somebody even from a different faith. One of my favorite faiths to talk about is Christianity. Their belief in their God gives them hope, and maybe even gave them the power to stop drugs, or doing drugs. Whatever. If it doesn't matter if you believe in that specific God or not, it's the belief that makes things manifest. They might not understand that it's them bringing that about, the belief. All their prayers for them to stop smoking or doing drugs did the inner alchemy or the great work on them. They don't know that they're doing it. We know that we're doing it. We know that things that are made manifest are through our reality, maybe helped by gods or spirits. They just give the other spirit credit. And again, what I'm trying to focus on again is that it's all got. And I'm doing this because I had a friend. This video, I had a friend that was complaining that their magic never seems to manifest, and I was trying to tell him, it could be everything from timing to too much white noise and not enough energy. In these kind of scenarios, maybe you should not just. Nothing against solitary practitioners. I'm a solitary practitioner, but I have friends. It's okay to seek help from your pagan friends and ask them to send positive energy your way, because their energy, within reason, when you cast spells, it's okay to talk to certain people because they're not going to, be against you. But we're two, bind together, more energy, just more energy. It's all about energy and giving your magic a plane of existence to manifest on. So anyways, this video went way too long than I wanted it to. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Take care.